Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. Listen, I'm glad to have you guys here. Today is January 31st, last day of January 2020. And let's get started. Let's open up the charts right here. You know what? Deutsche Bank. They're just going lower and lower and lower and lower. They're sinking lower and lower. They're trying to downsize this bank, but at the same size, they're trying to deleverage it at the same time to make it not as big a player in the global scene, because it's a money. It's like a money losing operation, not a money making operation. It's a money losing operation. I'll read a little bit of this article. It says turnaround costs push Deutsche Bank to $6 billion loss. 5.7 billion euros, 6.3 billion US dollars they lost this last year. It says it's the fifth loss in a row as the cost of its latest turnaround attempt. And this is when they were cutting all these employees and they were basically firing everybody in the bank, downsizing the bank as fast as they can. It says misconduct scandals, a failed attempt to take on Wall Street heavyweights, and more recently an aborted merger with Commerzbank means that Germany's biggest bank, Deutsche Bank, is still in recovery mode more than a decade on from the global financial crisis. Recovery mode? What a joke! They're losing $6 billion a year. They call that recovery? The latest attempt under CEO Christian Sewing is a $7.4 billion euro drive to cut 18,000 jobs, shrink its investment bank, and focus on corporate as well as private banking. But efforts are being hindered by a faltering global economy and ultra-low Eurozone interest rates. So, Deutsche Bank's a mess. Basically, the way to just cover the whole thing, say Deutsche Bank's a mess. It's losing money like crazy. I don't know how its stock price is staying up like it is, because let's take a look at Deutsche Bank's stock price today. 840 euros. You know, if we take a look at the 1 month, look, the stock price is actually going up on a bank that's losing 6 billion euros a year. Less than profit. It's a money sieve. And the stock price is going up. It just doesn't make any sense. You know, I'm going to tell you something else that doesn't make any sense. Yesterday, you know, I was watching the stock market. It was down. It was down like, I think like 100 points down or whatever, you know. And then they made the big announcement from the World Health Organization that we're in a global emergency with this new virus, right? And immediately when they made that announcement, stock prices went up hundreds of points. You know, and it ended the day up. And it doesn't make any sense. Just like this doesn't make any sense to me that the stock price for this bank that's losing money hand over fist should go up. You know, by the way, this is, I think, a 1 month chart. Look, it's steadily going up. The stock price. Well, this world's getting so crazy. I mean, it's just absolutely bonkers. Take a look at silver now today, you know. And we see silver starting to climb right now in price again. It's getting up near that $18 mark. $17.89 right now. It's up 8 cents on the day. All this craziness in the markets, like Deutsche Bank going up when it should be going down, and the markets going up when they should be going down, and everything else, it's going to straighten itself out, because markets will always find fair market value ultimately in the end. This is something we can count on. And if they're being manipulated, manipulation of the markets can only last so long before finally it comes to a bad conclusion too, ultimately in the end, you know. But that's what happens. Let's take a look now at the gold price. See what it's doing today. $1,582. You know, gold's getting up near that $1,600 mark. $1,582 today right now. And what we're looking at is is the price is surging upwards right now at this minute for gold. Now let's take a look at cryptocurrencies and see what they're doing. And we've seen a nice rise in the price of cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies right now is at 254.3 billion, with a Bitcoin dominance of 66.2%, and we're seeing a Bitcoin price of 92.62. It's maintaining that price above 9,000 quite nicely, you know. It has cooled off a little bit. I think it was up to like 94 or 96 last night when I went to bed, something like that. But it's cooled off just a little bit, but it's holding its price up. And you know, look at that price for Litecoin, 66.88. You know, Litecoin is taking a big jump in price, but Litecoin is still way undervalued when you consider that it's basically 25% of a Bitcoin, because there's 4 times as many Litecoins. So Bitcoin, the Litecoin price should be right now 25% of a Bitcoin, which would be somewhere in the vicinity of around $2,300, you know, a piece, and it's $66. So you can see it's underpriced. I think in the end it's going to be Bitcoin is number 1 and Litecoin's number 2. I think in the end that's what you're going to see. And I think a lot of these other coins are going to move down on the list, you know. I think Bitcoin SV, you know, could take a fall from its lofty perch right now, you know. And it's one of the competition that's directly in front of Litecoin. So Litecoin could possibly move to the number 5 position very easily. And then Bitcoin Cash, we'll see if it can hold its number 4 position. But I can see Ethereum, XRP, and Bitcoin Cash all making way for Litecoin. I'm expecting in the future Litecoin to move in a number 2 position next to Bitcoin. Bitcoin 1 and 2. Bitcoin gold and Litecoin is silver. And I could see them being in a 1-2 position as far as the cryptocurrencies. That's just my opinion, but that's the way I see it, you know. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average today. And she's down 234 points. Down 260 now. Now I guess it's starting to sink in that the disease in China is spreading from person to person. And it's in the population, and it's going to be awfully hard to stop it in China. It tried to seed itself, you know, over here in North America. And whether it'll be successful at seeding itself, we'll see. You know, we had sporadic isolated cases all across Canada and the United States. And if they're able to stop those from spreading, then we won't have it in North America. If they can stop those isolated cases. And I'm not going to say that we won't have it all the way through the virus, because we're going to have to remain vigilant. And we're going to have to increase our vigilance if we're going to keep it out of North America. Same way with these other countries like Great Britain right now. I don't think they've had a case yet in Great Britain. And they want to up their security on this. I mean, this is something if you know, this is something you got to stay on top of, because this is a very contagious sort of thing, you know. Let's take a look here at crude oil today. 51.84. It's down 30 cents on the day. And what's affecting the crude oil price is this virus is affecting the crude oil price in a negative way, and it's making the crude oil price go down. We're getting almost down into the 40s pretty soon. If it keeps falling, I could see it going into the 40s, 49, 48 for sweet light crude. If this continues to expand, because we got inventory builds, and at the same time, if the world is starting to, like, when they describe these Chinese cities and they say it looks like a ghost town, you don't see the cars driving down the street and stuff, you know. They're not using crude oil. It's as simple as that. Let's take a look at U.S. Treasuries right now. I'm going to tell you what we're seeing here. We're seeing the yield curve inversion intensifying. It's heading out all the way to the 30-year soon. And that 30-year is the only holdout. at around 2% for the 30-year, and we're seeing 1.57 on the 1 month. So, I mean, it's not that big of a stretch to see the 30-year dropping and the 1 month rising. We could see it extend all the way out to the 30-year. What we're seeing the yield curve inversion solidly out to the 10-year. So we got a yield curve inversion right now. Let's take a look at the U.S. dollar index. I mean, we're getting so many signs of a coming recession with that people are starting to ignore them now. They're ignoring the yield curve inversion. We're having so many yield curve inversions. U.S. dollar index now, 97.64, and the dollar is dropping today. This is the first significant drop I've seen in a little bit. We got a dropping dollar. This is going to be good for gold, silver, and cryptos when the dollar drops, you know. Listen, thank you guys for listening to this market report. Like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Really need those thumbs ups. And we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.